Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of tSQLt Live. And I'm back here with Dmitry. And yeah, the last time we met is quite a while ago. So we're going to be starting with trying to figure out where we were at. You might know that in your own work, coming back from vacation or something like that. Let's see if the tests can actually help us figure out where we are at. We just ran the build and we have an unexpected error early on in the build. So we're going to be starting with that. As usual, if you have any questions, type them into the chat. I will check that occasionally. And even if you're watching this on a recording, still feel free to put your questions in the chat or in the comments, and we will answer them. Okay, let's get started.
So procedure function expect. So where is it used? It's total memory refresh after so long time.
Yes.
So I'll try to, if you know, then say, if not, then
Yeah.
I will try to spy procedure directly in spy procedure. And
Should be used only in one place. So if you have watched us for a while, you might have noticed that we jump around between two different editors. That is something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend, but with Management Studio, it's really helpful to have the code open in a second editor, Visual Studio Code, or just Notepad++, because those two have way better search capabilities than Management Studio provides.
this is not only search, I would say VS Code is just so good in code writing. So like it's just, I am waiting, personally I'm waiting when Redgate will create the good version of tSQL or of tSQL, SQL prompt in is this Azure Data Studio.
Yes.
I will be so happy.
Yes, I might switch at that point too.
Yeah, so it's not there yet. So I would rather use Azure Data Studio just because of ease of use. Okay, so private generate create procedure statement. This one's remote. It expects remote object name.
It was not provided, but it is there.
Okay, now where is this file from? I'll just close it just to be sure that it is the one from solution.
Well, I think what I would do at this point is check out fresh. What the heck?
What? Check out fresh, you mean merge? Make a merge in Git?
Create a new directory and pull the code back down from there.
Okay.
And then you can rename the directory so that you don't have to open everything back up in the browser.
So looking for the. Okay, so demo free. Yeah, so git clone like this. Okay, tSQLt. Now, no, close the project, close solution,
Yes.
close solution. Now open another one. And let's just try to build. Yeah.
Let's try. Yes.
And while it's building, what we need to merge our changes. So maybe, I don't know, do you have good ways of doing that? But
What do you mean merge our changes?
this is the fresh copy from GitHub.
Yes. Shouldn't that be identical to what's in the other directory?
No,
I mean,
because
the last thing we did was check in, wasn't it?
okay. I checked out from your official
Yes.
repository. I mean, not from our branch, but from the main branch.
Ah, okay.
So okay.
Then
we need to okay. Then so why I just needed to discard everything and switch to the branch, and that's it. I can just delete everything as a. I can switch to the branch now from the fresh.
yes, but not in the middle of the build. So let's wait for the build to finish.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds to me that you are a little bit more experienced in tSQLt development rather than me.
Oh, that might be just a little bit possible. Let's go back to the search and see if we maybe missed something while we're waiting for this build.
Search. I need to open another one. Okay. And as you mentioned, this what tool, so I just love VS Code. This is my ideal tool, pretty much. Oh, did I open? Okay, let me check. Did I open the previous one? Folder. And search for this usage of the procedure.
Yes.
But that might be that failure. Is it possible that this failure was from the test? So that some test was calling
It's possible that we call it in a test. Yes.
Yes, because I was searching from the source, so I need to search from the. So yeah, so we have a bit more.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So and remote object. Now, what's the parameter that is missing? Now, no, I remember the last time we canceled the job. It wasn't a good idea.
No, it was not. That one is not a good idea.
So, okay, I suggest let's wait. Let's wait.
Okay, but let's look at the tests while we are waiting. We can do that in Visual Studio Code.
One second, I'll move it to another screen. So, okay, so this is one place.
Yes, there are a bunch of tests in Facade that seem to be calling this procedure directly.
Yeah, but they are not using parameters. So I guess no changes should be done. Nope.
Okay, let's look for the name of the parameter in the error message.
And I can not because
If
the
you,
build is
yeah, but
running.
if you look at the first file in your search result,
It's the wrong. I opened. Okay, I see it's now. No, but it is. We had this remote something. What
yes,
directory? Number 2.
did you change the branch already?
No, it seems spy. You see, spy
Yeah,
synonyms pointing, so seems to be the right branch. Okay, what about the no changes? Spy procedure SSP.
remote object
Yeah,
name.
okay, it's here already. Something. Maybe it's something didn't refresh. So we should add this remote. We should search for this and add this remote object name. That is remote object name. And should we pass null? I don't recall. Or should we pass the same parameter? Like it will point remote object name. Remote object name. No remote database name. Remote object name.
So we do need to pass the remote object name as it is.
Yeah, but we use only for data to get the remote database name. And if it's 0, if it's null, so I guess we agreed on to pass the empty string.
Yes, we did agree on passing an empty string.
So every way is it missing, we will pass the empty string.
But I'm a little surprised that it is using only.
Not database. Yeah, the same to me. Why do we need to pass for object name?
Well, let's go back to, well, we have a lot more tests. Let's make them all work again.
I guess here they all just use the name, but not parameters. So they should probably be not affected by this change.
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay, here no, no, drop, procedure, create procedure. Okay, exec.
Let's look at what's actually passed
Object
in here.
name. It's
Remote
passed.
object name is
This is what we.
Object name, and
Here is null, but then it makes null. I guess it will make this part. What was that?
okay. So we hadn't gotten very far with that yet.
You see this. This will be null if we pass null. No, remote object name. Yeah, it will. Okay. You see,
Yes.
we're using is null, so we should pass
null
null.
makes a lot more sense than empty string.
So let's pass null.
Yes.
Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Create exec.
I thought you
No,
changed 2 files. You sure that none of the tests are using it?
that's one more time. Remote object update null. Not in this file, yeah, because you see no exec, it's something.
Okay.
Insert into create procedure something.
Okay.
So it should be in exec, not in create, exec1. So here it's original place. And these two, 1 and 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, but the funny thing that this build was which succeeded, obviously because it was from the main, but it ran on the other directory, and now we made the changes in the
No,
other
I
folder.
thought you opened 3 already.
No, yeah, but it, as you said, don't switch while it's not.
Yes.
So I didn't do.
Ah,
But what we know already, but we need to change only in this place
yes.
because other ones were
Good.
already changed. So
And let's run the tests again.
no, I'll open 3 to make sure that we have clean version.
Yes.
I'll switch to the branch, make that single change, and then we will run the spy something. Okay, the spy synonyms, and it was in the I don't recall. Does it have history? No. Okay, this one. Okay. Now let's run it again.
Yes. You saved it?
Yes. Let's double check. Yeah, I saved it.
Okay.
This is, but why it's not starting? Tools. Am I? Okay.
Solution is empty. We ran tSQLt only before we committed last time. That's why we didn't catch this error. Which is actually a change that we implemented that is not in your branch, so I can't show you, but there's a way now in the, I think it's in the main branch, that you can specify if you want to run tSQLt only or the full build as a parameter. So let's assume this build is running. Our next step was to create the database that we use as a remote database.
And I suggest to check what did I do for spy table for this not spy fake table, because I made it already, so we can just take this part from there.
Yeah, but let's do a quick look through the build code anyway, because I think we can just create that remote database right where we create the main database, and then we don't need to. Then
what about users, permissions, and so on? Will it still work?
That will be automatic. That's a nice thing if
okay.
you do it in the build.
Okay, let's try. Where?
If you open the validate build XML in the build directory. tSQLt dot.
This one, yeah.
The first one.
And probably in preparation, yes.
Probably, not 100% sure. Look in init. Those are the different run options. Keep scrolling. Not quite as fast. I can't read quite as fast. Okay, create log table. Stop parameters. Hello. There we go. After hello, we should have an init. Now more validate parameters. So keep scrolling. .SQL version, directories. Keep scrolling. Init, there we go. Init just unzips some files. A reset server. Keep scrolling. Prepare server. That's not it either. All tests main. It's not it either.
I find it very user-friendly.
There. Create tSQLt scripts is attaching a create build db.sql. And where are we actually setting the database name? That's passed in when we are calling this. Search for temp prepare server.sql.
For what?
Temp prepare server.sql, the name and the line above. Underscore. That name, yeah. If you just double click there where you are.
Yeah, and you mean you want to open this file?
No, I want you to search for it in the file that you have open.
Ah. This?
That. Okay, so see, deploy tSQLt database. That's how we create the main database. Now search for deploy tSQLt database. And now go back to the first result that you just were at. That's setting deploy tSQLt database to deploy and validate tSQLt database. Let's find that. And that is setting it to run tSQLt.database. And where is that set? There. Okay, so let's create a new one. Right there. Duplicate line 23 and let's call it run tSQLt.remote.database. And then let's make it now DB name, delete that remote. And behind the brace, the closing brace, just do an underscore remote. And behind underscore remote to follow the naming pattern. I guess we could do it in front, but all other databases start with tSQLt. Good. And now go back to where that database is created. I think you just were there.
This?
Yeah, that's. And let's, you have something in the clipboard, paste that somewhere. Okay, you need to duplicate 522 to 527, not just this line. Now, there's a reason there's this deploy database instead of the run database. And I don't remember what that is, but I think it has to do with usage. How did we create the deploy tSQLt database variable? Can you find that again, please?
I'm just wondering if we, so we should search for this. Okay, whatever, it will be quicker if I just. And this is main.
So deploy and validate tSQLt takes 2 parameters now. So let's duplicate line 50. And do a tSQLt.remote.database in the second line in both for name and value.
Like that? Or
Dot remote. And
now do the same with all this. But why are so many?
no, go back to deploy and validate .tSQLt. We need to find that target now.
This one, right?
Yeah, without the .database, just deploy and validate .tSQLt.
This one?
Yeah.
So fine. Ah, okay. Target. It's now it's every time memory refresh when I go back to end. Okay, so then it should be name equal
single double quotes, yeah. Okay. And then where it says deploy tSQLt, let's duplicate line 148. And do the same, tSQLt.remote. Perfect. So now we have the deploy.tSQLt.remote database, and I believe we set that up already. So that should create that second database. Now we need to figure out where we need to pass that along so that the code that's trying to access it knows what the database name is.
I hope you understand that.
Yeah. Well, right now we are creating the database. So let's look back at our build. That should have finished by now. And it should have one or two failing tests. It has two failing tests. So if you search for 855 space.
855 space. Ah, okay, succeeded.
Yes.
Okay.
Then the last two test names are the ones that errored. So if you copy just the common part, it's just the warning. Let's keep searching. There we go. tSQLt.dev remote does not exist.
Surprise.
Surprise, yes.
Okay, so try run the build.
Let's open that test. And as you see in that test,
Remote DB
is already valued, but it's hard-coded. So we have two options here. And I think I prefer the replace. So either we can, during the build, replace tSQLt.dev remote in this file with a name that we get from the build. That's one option. The other option is to actually use a SQL command variable here instead of.
What if we just hard code for now, test that build is running, everything is good, the database is up, and then we change it to variable?
Okay, we can start the build, and then while we are waiting for the build, work on the replacement. I like that.
So, but how? So we can use. What was the last option? Was SQL CMD variable?
Yes.
But how will it be replaced? When?
Okay.
No, not replaced. How it's where to declare this variable? How to pass to the script?
If you go back to the build XML, validate build XML rather.
Okay, I'll move it to other screen.
Search for tSQLt.run new.
Run new. Okay.
Yes, there. So this is passing in a bunch of parameters already. Let's look for execute SQL tests that target. No, execute SQL tests.
Which this?
Yes. And remember 572 will have to get back to here. Okay, so what this is doing, it's executing 3 files. The first one, execute SQL statement, then the second one to get the test results into a file, and then the third one to log the outcome into the multi-run result table. Then let's look at execute SQL statement, which is right above it. And that is calling execute SQL statement of file, which what you're going to see here now is the absolute darkest of and.
Here?
No, the line above, execute SQL statement of file.
So now this is param name.
This is a parameter, yes, but we need to traverse the calls. So line 495 is calling the target execute SQL statement of file. And that's what we need to find next.
This one?
Yes. Okay, and that has a bunch of conditions, and it's calling, I think, default. So line 426.
Find that?
Yes. Actually, no, line 435. That's the one that we need to find. 435. That target there. So execute SQL statement of file with permissions.
Okay. What to do with it?
What it does in the end, you have it on the screen already, is it's calling execute SQL statement of file exec. And that is using SQL command. And SQL command allows us to pass variables in. And if you look at the end of the line, it has the -v. -v passing a new DB name and DB name. And we can just add a remote DB name to that.
Where do you see this -v? Ah, yeah. Okay.
Let's put it in front of build log table. I think that's the best place to put it. Good. And now we need to go back chain to execute SQL tests. Yes. And in line, after line 575, put a new line with that new parameter name. Deploy and run tests remote.database. I believe that's what we called it. No, remote.database. Pretty sure. Okay, search for deploy and run test database.
Search for what?
Okay.
Search
No,
for what?
the one above, deploy and run.test.database. That's the one below, the one above, deploy and run.test.database. And without name equals, this is not a target. This is a para. Well, okay. Line 645. Duplicate that.
Like that?
Yes. And now we need to find run all tests
No.
database, not remote, because we don't have that yet. Run all tests database.
And so duplicated in both places.
Duplicated in both places. And then make a deploy and validate tSQLt.remote. We don't have a deckpack.remote. And because our tests won't write to the remote database, they just will read from it. I think you can use the same database in both cases. No, you can't. Because if you run deckpack alone, it won't have created that database. Okay, we need to create a deckpack remote database.
Here. To add here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should it be the same?
No, it says deckpack. No, it can't be the same. Deckpack remote.
Like that?
Like that, yeah. And then you need to rename the actual variable name.
Just validating the change. This is not used anywhere.
Then search for the deploy and validate deckpack database.
Why didn't find anything? No, sorry.
But you had one. When you searched for that one, there was one call.
This one?
Yes. That also needs to have both of them.
Okay, and remote. Done.
Okay, good. And let's go to the next on the run DACPack.
What?
Remote database. We still need to add the creation of that new database into the run DACPack.
How?
How? Yeah, let's keep going down the chain till we get to the spot where the validate database is created.
Okay. Can you say something now just to
So
start?
go to that target, deploy and validate DACPack.
They said prepare server. This too.
No, I think it's in deploy tSQLt DACPack. Yes, that's where it is.
Duplicate it.
No, it's calling a PowerShell script. So we can either change that PowerShell script to create the database, or we can copy the call to create database. I think I would prefer going into the PowerShell. Let's open that PowerShell file.
Oh, they did change login. I guess they always had change login web browser, whatever. You have a note now. Okay, so what in PowerShell?
Let's see how this is. There you go. Lines 34 and 35 create the database.
So you are building DACPack by just renaming zip, if I understand correctly, but you are not building the DACPack, but or not?
No, we are in the validate phase, so it's deploying the DACPack.
Okay.
Deploying the DACPack in line 38, but in line 34, 35, it's creating the database. So let's duplicate 34 and 35.
What did we have?
New database name stays the same, just change the database name variable to remote database name. Perfect. And then let's add a parameter. So duplicate line 8.
What about this? SQL connections. We don't need to deploy. We just created the database, right?
Yes, there's nothing. Wow. No, we don't need to deploy. So let's go back to validate build.xml. And pass in 555. Let's duplicate that line. And the parameter name is remote database name. I think that is all we need to change. Did our build succeed?
No. How can it if there is no database?
Well, we
run.
No, I thought we had the database created, or did it fail? It probably failed on the.
No, there is no database.
No, the full build deletes databases after it's done.
Yeah.
So let's look at the actual output. You scroll up a little bit. There were 2 errors.
Where is that? How to find? Do you have?
Okay, if you turn off line wrap, it's a little easier to see. So in the error column there's 1, 2.
853.
Yes, and that's tSQLt DACPack. So that same run. Let's keep looking. Let's go back to the table at the bottom. If you look in the run group column, it's telling you that is a DACPack test. And if you look at the row 3, it ran the same tests, but under the tSQLt group. So under the tSQLt group, the 2 tests passed. Under the DACPack group, they failed. So the reason is that we had the code in place to create the tSQLt database. We didn't have the code in place to create the DACPack database, but we just added that. So if you run this again now, that should work. However, we still are not passing in. We still are not making use of the passed in name. So let's go back to our main tests. To these tests, yeah. And then let's use the SQL command variable there.
Which one?
What did we call it when we passed it in?
New? No, remote.
Remote database name. I think we called it something else. No, not here. In search for SQL command space.
CMD?
And CMD, yes. Their remote DB name is the name. Is that actually the correct syntax for SQL command variables? I don't remember.
I think so.
Okay, and we have 2 tests.
Yeah, but now does that mean will it run locally? Like how will it replace if we run this test locally? Or it's not run, I don't know, it's SpyProcedure test.
It's a really good point. If we run this locally, it won't work.
Probably we should, yeah, but I mean, the approach we do, so we just run this file.
There's sadly no easy way around that. So maybe we
I don't know about idea. What if we store? This is the variable, so we can read it from table. So if some process will create some storage, temporal storage that we can read from, then we insert the record into this table.
I like that. There's a configuration table.
Yeah. So like this process, SQL CMD will create the configuration table.
Yes.
With the values, and it will be. So it will work here.
But that's a public configuration table. So should we have a non-public parameter in there?
How will it work? So how, when you run the build, creates? But then I mean, what about like if you put that here? So this test should probably, no, they are not accessible for the end user, right? For the customer who is using tSQLt. This is only for the build. So we can have this and then drop this table. Yeah.
Yes. So what we could do is
what about this? You know, this, have you ever worked with, there are some kind of variables, session variable? I don't know, you can, I remember something I read somewhere. So you can store some values in the memory. I don't know about the lifetime of them.
Yeah, the problem is that the build is using several sessions and
I mean, like, is it session or what? I don't know. Is it like session wide? Because if it's like if it's not.
I think what we should do is create a tSQLt private table during the build.
By the way, tackle different. Okay, this. I just just in case if we come back to in again just
So how about a private remote DB name for
access C. I don't know how to spell that.
Okay, if you don't want that table in the tSQLt code because it shouldn't be in there, then we need to put that table into testUtil.
tSQL. tSQL. What's that tSQL? Is that a folder? You mean this here? This one.
Yes.
But what's that? Is it table of what tSQL?
testUtil is available during the build and it has some additional tSQLt test specific assertions, for example. So, for example, assert test is passing, assert test is failing. And then we could put that table in. So tSQLt testUtil.remote DB name. If you go back to the build.xml, where it creates a database.
Yeah.
Apply and run tests. Search for deploy tSQLt backpack. Where is that called? Not just that one, yeah. That's a target. Where is that called?
Where is it called or where is it Defined. Okay, called.
Defined, it's here where it's called.
Okay. And so in only one place, this one.
Okay, let's deploy and validate tSQLt. And okay, look at run all tests. So the second call is installing tSQLt test util. And I believe that file is generated. Search for that name in here. See if, no, actually that would be in the other. So that would be in tSQLt.build.xml. Oh, this is master. This is not even what we want. Can you go back to validate build.xml? Let's keep scroll down a little bit. There must be another install test util. There it is.
It's also generated.
I believe it is
A
also
temp.
generated.
Temp. Okay.
There. Now next one. That one. So what we could do here is yes.
Private. What do you think? Oh, kind of CR.
I'm not sure why we are on the test folder there. I think this should be just.
Or maybe here.
Yeah.
So that's procedure.
Yeah, let's just create a hard-coded view at the end.
Hard-coded view.
Mm-hmm.
Test util, whatever. Private.
Underscore test util. That's all lowercase. Private underscore remote database info. I think the naming pattern has been private underscore and then no other data, underscores. So the rest is camel case.
select this is as value.
Let's call it as database name, or let's call it remote database name, the same name. No, this is just for the remote database. So if you need more information, then we can just add columns. So let's put the remote database name into a column called remote database name. Would you mind making that as uppercase?
Would I mind what? Yes, okay.
Yes. Make it uppercase. Perfect. Let's save that, and then let's make sure that we pass in the remote database name
But we
variable when we call it.
No, we did that.
So
Is
you
that...
have that data, you have in line 53. You have a database name. So let's just put directly behind it a remote database name. Okay, but remote database name spelled out is not our parameter name. It's not our SQL command parameter name. Can you switch back to the SQL file we just created or we just worked in? Remote DB name.
Yeah, but maybe I don't know. Here, database name, here, DB name.
Yeah, leave the parameter to the PowerShell file remote DB database name and make that parameter the actual SQL command parameter, make that remote DB name.
An actual SQL parameter with this one, right?
Yeah. Because that seems to be the pattern we have used in other places, even though here we have a
But is it? Shouldn't we add something here?
No. I think this is good.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we need to find where this PowerShell is called.
No.
The facade tests aren't actually using this. So yeah, the facade tests aren't using it. Just put tempdb in line 189.
Just what?
Just put tempdb in instead of the variable there, because it's not used anyway.
Like that?
Like that, yes. Okay. But we need to find the other places where the tSQL is installed, and that would be in this validate build XML. So search for tSQL.SpyProcedure. That's the append file, execute file there. There we need to pass in a new parameter. Then we always have remote.database. Good. And then if you go to the execute SQL file, make sure that it actually can handle that additional parameter.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a very good question. Let's open execute SQL statement of file. Statement of file.
What was the name?
Remote.database. And I think it was a lowercase database because we like to be consistent. Or not. Yes, perfect. Okay. Can you go back to searching for tSQL.SQL? SQL remote database. Okay, I think we have it all. But we are not reading from that table yet. So let's go back to our tests and read from the table, or from the view rather. Good.
Ay. Okay, good. What's
Why using search?
maybe regex? Regex. Okay.
Okay, there should be a second test that needs the same treatment.
Yeah, but I replaced all of them.
Did you?
Yeah. Yes. So Yeah, but okay, so
No, you didn't. 840.
140. Okay, understood, because we didn't have that. Okay, let's do like that. No, like that. Like that. Yeah, because the database variable was used. Okay, so now save run.
Yes. If everything is saved on the other hand.
I think so. Let's try. Yeah, everything was saved.
Good. So this either is blowing everything up or maybe we found everything.
I can't say that I understood all the changes we made.
And is crazy.
Yeah.
And we will remove it eventually. But right now we have to live with it. Problem is that AND doesn't really know branching. So all the hoops that it is jumping through are due to pseudo conditionals. Let's call it that.
I just needed to click. Then it started to.
Talking about the output scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the cursor after the last printed line, it will auto scroll, otherwise it will stop. Actually, could you stop it and scroll up a little bit to that? Or do that? I don't remember the number, 833 maybe?
Hmm? What are we looking for?
The 800 tests that were run, the output is somewhere up there.
No, it's
No, that's only 30.
okay. So then let's search for 800.
Yeah. Okay, good catch.
Yeah.
No errors.
Yeah, on the skipped ones.
And is our can you search for the SPY procedure works with synonym pointing to proc?
In the log?
Yes.
So somewhere.
Nice. So half of it worked. And the other half didn't.
And I suggest to leave it for the next time.
Okay. We can do that. Then let's check this in. How did you pull this comparison view up?
Sorry.
Let's finish the check-in, the commit message first. How about add creation of remote database to build?
That's okay. This is
What
actually.
Liz and I have started doing is to put in the commit message that the build is failing.
Well, like that or some convention.
So far, we always had it at the end, but we can certainly work at a convention. Then I would say build failing, : or maybe build failing in parentheses, and then the actual message.
Without underscore?
Doesn't really matter, I don't think. Yeah, let's make it a space.
So what was your question about?
The view you are looking at right now that compares pre and last commit and current commit. How did you open?
How it is built in VS Code functionality?
Yes, but how did you open it?
How did I open it from from here, for example, shortcut? Or what? Which exactly part? I mean, like that. Like what exactly is?
Well,
the question.
So when you click on a file in the source control section, it automatically opens up the comparison?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I guess I never tried that.
VS Code cool.
Yes, absolutely.
Finally found somebody. I don't know. People, I don't know, it's so cool, so I don't understand why people don't use it. And when I see people using Notepad, not plus plus, but just Notepad, is just something like.
Just Notepad, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay, let's commit this.
Yeah.
And sync.
Yeah. Already.
Perfect. And with that, we are almost at the end of the hour. So I think it's okay for us to close this early.
And now it's at the end of the 1 hour and a half. We started 1/2 past.
Oh, yeah, well, there's that.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Good. Then thanks everybody for watching. And again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, even if you are watching this in a recording. And see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.